Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are opening up a stack of source material that, well, it provides a kind of shortcut. A shortcut to what might be the most coveted human trait.
Emotional resilience.
Exactly. We're diving deep into the surprisingly pragmatic strategies that some people use to stay, completely unshakable.
Even when chaos is erupting all around them.
Right, and that quality, that deep sense of calm, it often feels, well, it feels inaccessible, like it's some magic trick for a lucky few.
It does. But our whole mission for this deep dive is to prove the opposite. The research is pretty clear on this. This isn't luck. It's not some personality trait you're born with.
It's a strategy.
A meticulously trained, repeatable strategy.
We're really unpacking the core mechanics of the mind here to explain why some of us collapse under pressure while others just seem to adjust their focus.
And the central revelation of this material is, frankly, deeply empowering. Calmness isn't a gift you just wait to receive.
It's a choice.
A choice you make every day. And it's a tradable skill that starts with just looking inward.
The notes call it the reactive state, right? That millions of people are operating from this default setting.
That's right. They're letting everything, external emails, traffic, a minor disagreement, pull their internal strings.
So we're going to try and activate what the material calls the silent skill.
The ability to step back, to regain that emotional autonomy.
Okay, so if we strip away all the platitudes, what is the hidden mindset shift here? The one that stops anxiety, protects your peace, and unlocks this emotional superpower.
We're moving beyond just motivation.
Right. This is the strategic manual. So let's unpack this blueprint for unshakable calmness.
The journey begins right where the internal conflict starts. The research is so insistent on this point.
That the real battle for peace isn't external.
Not at all. It's not your job, not your responsibilities, not other people. The fight starts inside your mind the second you wake up.
And that's the critical separation, because before you even consciously engage with the day, your mind is already shifting into one of two modes.
Reactive or regulated. And the tragedy, really, is that most people unknowingly spend their entire lives in that reactive mode.
Just feeling dragged through the day.
Exactly.
So what keeps us stuck in that loop, in that reactive sort of automatic state? The sources point to this invisible trigger they call the automatic mind.
Yeah, and we often think anxiety comes from these big, looming problems.
But it's not that.
No, it's these tiny, almost undetectable automatic thoughts. The material calls them mental sparks.
And they fire so fast you don't even register them.
But they do.
Yeah.
And they quietly determine whether your day is going to be chaotic or peaceful. If you miss those sparks, you become a victim of the emotional current that follows.
And these sparks are what? Instant judgment.
Instant judgments. This is going to be hard. I don't have enough time. That person doesn't like me. These automatic evaluations are what hijack the entire system.
That sounds exhausting. I mean, if these sparks are firing constantly before I even realize it, are the sources saying we have to become, I don't know, hyper-vigilant monks just to find some peace?
No, not at all. It requires focused training, not perpetual exhaustion. And to really get our heads around this, the notes give us this fantastic analogy.
The river analogy.
Exactly. So think of your mind as a river valley. Your thoughts are the water.
Okay.
They're constantly flowing, constantly moving. You can't just stop them.
Right. That's impossible.
So the key is the architecture you build to manage that flow. In this analogy, your awareness is the dam.
Your capacity to just observe the thoughts without immediately jumping into the water with them.
You got it. The goal isn't to stop the water. It's to build something that holds it so you can decide what to do with it.
And the final piece.
Your reaction is the flood. If that dam, your awareness, isn't built and learned, even the smallest surge of water, one of those mental sparks.
It leads to an emotional flood.
Anger, panic, overwhelm. It just destroys your peace, shatters your clarity, and completely depletes your mental resources for the day.
So the stakes are incredibly high. If you never build that dam, you're just spending your life reacting physically and chemically to low-level internal noise.
And that brings us to the core misconception. Most people believe, I'm stressed because of this situation.
When the real problem is the total absence of that internal dam.
Which shifts the entire focus of the strategy, Once we understand the problem is the uncontrolled river, we can talk about the solution.
And that solution is the major mindset shift.
It is.
Because the common belief is I'm stressed because of my life, my boss, my circumstances. But that belief is what keeps you stuck.
And this material just dismantles that. It reveals a deeper reality. You're not stressed because of life. You're stressed because of how your mind interprets life.
That interpretation, that's the one variable you can actually control.
It's the entire battleground.
So calmness is trained, it's not found. This really pushes back on that idea that some people are just naturally positive or something.
They're not. The secret is that calm people aren't born calm. They're trained calm. They've internalized that emotions will rise, sure, but the thoughts often lie.
They don't just accept every automatic interpretation as the gospel truth.
Exactly. The trained calm person understands the predictable sequence. We feel like emotions pop up out of nowhere, but every single emotional response follows a specific, traceable path.
And this is what the source material calls the curiosity trigger, right? The big insight.
Yes. Emotions don't come from events. They come from your interpretation of those events.
Okay, let's make that concrete. The sources use that perfect, universal example.
A traffic jam.
Right, the traffic jam scenario. Same external situation for two people, both late for work, stuck in gridlock.
Okay, so person A, their internal mental spark is immediate. They interpret this traffic as a catastrophe.
I'm going to be late. My boss will be angry. My whole day is ruined. This is an attack on my schedule.
That interpretation triggers anger, frustration, a cortisol spike. They're actively pouring emotional fuel on a fire they can't put out.
Now, person B, identical situation. Same cars, same time.
But their inner lens is different. Their interpretation is, okay, this is frustrating, but it's completely outside of my control. Getting angry won't move these cars.
So they might see it as, what, a mandatory pause? A moment to listen to music or just think?
And there it is. Same event, completely different emotional outcomes. Person B is showing a trained calm, not some natural gift. They're consciously choosing the most functional interpretation available.
That is the core strategy in action.
You don't control the volume of the world, but you absolutely control how your mind processes the sound. Master interpretation, and you master peace.
Which moves us right into the next section, which is about the mechanism for all this. They call it the inner lens.
Yes, every second, your mind is assigning meaning to neutral data points.
An unreplied text, a short email, a colleague's tone of voice. Your mind is a meaning-making machine.
And the inner lens is the filter. It's the collection of all your assumptions, your biases, your past experiences. It's what turns that raw data into either a personal threat or an opportunity.
So what happens if that lens is, let's say, not maintained?
If the lens is scratched with old stuff past, hurts, fears, insecurities, cognitive distortions like catastrophizing, then everything you look at is going to look hostile.
A normal work challenge becomes a disaster.
A quiet moment from a friend feels like abandonment.
But if you actively work to clean that lens,
By addressing those underlying false beliefs, then life becomes manageable. It feels peaceful, even when the external facts are still difficult.
and this is the power twist, isn't it? The ultimate relief.
It really is. You don't control the world. You never will. Not the people, not the economy, not the weather.
You only control the lens through which you see it.
The transformation starts the moment you decide to clean your lens, to stop focusing on changing the outside world, and start addressing the thoughts that are clouding your perception.
That's the moment of empowerment. It's realizing that while you can't control outcomes, you absolutely control your internal processing. And that changes your entire experience of life.
The notes summarize this so well. It's the move away from the powerless victim mindset,
The one that says, life is happening to me.
which just creates chronic helplessness and stress.
And you shift to the empowerment mindset, which says,
Life is responding to how I choose to interpret and think. That strategic shift pulls all the power away from the circumstance and puts it right back inside your own control system.
okay, so we've covered the strategy, the mechanics, the central shift, but we have to talk about the relevance for you, the person listening right now. There's a real cost to neglecting this training.
Absolutely. In a world that's just getting louder, faster, more overwhelming, stress and anxiety are becoming the default states for so many.
And we're talking about more than just feeling unhappy.
We're talking about the severe functional cost,
Ah.
constant decision fatigue, emotional depletion, burnout. If you don't learn to regulate that inner river,
Life will always feel heavier than it should.
exponentially heavier.
So this knowledge really forces a stark choice. You can either join the few who consciously learn to master their mind and dictate their own internal climate.
Or you remain with the many who are just constantly drowning in their emotions, letting those little mental sparks control the quality of their entire life.
But this deep dive, just by engaging with this, you've already taken those first critical steps.
You really have.
You've confirmed that your emotions follow a predictable sequence, that calmness is a skill you create, not something you just find.
That your interpretation literally shapes your world.
And maybe most critically, that you have far more power over your inner environment than you were probably ever led to believe.
This strategy isn't about ignoring difficulty or pretending problems don't exist. It's about discovering the calm, confident, powerful version of you that was always there.
Just hidden under layers of unexamined stress and mental noise.
It's about building a resilient internal architecture.
So this deep dive has laid out the what and the why. The source material does promise more on the how to break emotional overthinking, how to instantly calm the mind.
And specific daily practices needed to rewire your brain for peace.
And that leads us to our final thought for you to consider.
If deep, unshakable peace is created entirely by mastering interpretation, by keeping that inner lens clean, what's one small, immediate change you can make today, right now, to interrupt a single existing emotional pattern?
Just catch one of those first automatic sparks, observe it, and simply choose a more functional interpretation.